Malawi accessibility challenges.
A woman in a wheelchair enters a building through a narrow doorway. A man in a wheelchair is pushed up a steep ramp with an obstacle in the way.
12 years since Malawi ratified the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, UNCRPD. It is 10 years into Malawi Disability Act.
Sekerani sits on a chair outside and signs to camera.
Sekerani Kufawani, deaf, a government human resource officer and disability advocate. Malawi ratified the UNCRPD in 2009. A lot was just signed on paper with no implementation. The policyholders and general public have a poor understanding on issues of accessibility. Physical access and access to information is still a challenge. Poor accessibility continues to deny persons with disability independence, posing a safety and security threat.
Derrick Kumwenda, a man in a wheelchair, closes a car door with a man assisting him.
My name is Derrick Kumwenda. I'm paraplegic. I have got a spinal cord injury, and currently I'm a credit analyst working for National Economic Empowerment Fund.
Cell phone footage of Malawi buildings. A newspaper article with a headline that says, "Make ATMs user-friendly."
I've had challenges in accessibility, mostly to the public sector buildings and services.
A photograph of a wheelchair inaccessible ATM.
I cannot go to the market because the places are not accessible for someone who's disabled, mostly on a wheelchair. Because of the way the lamps are constructed, I cannot do it on my own.
Cell phone footage of a steep wheelchair inaccessible ramp.
I have to rely on someone to push me on the wheelchair. So sometimes you find that the person who is pushing you is not experienced enough and can even push you away from the ramps.
Derrick is pushed up a ramp in his wheelchair and hits an obstacle.
The workspace is not that friendly because the workstations that are there are not accessible enough for someone on a wheelchair. Because this problem, I'm forced either to come out of the office to visit nearby places whereby I can access the toilets, or sometimes I'm forced to work from home.
A newspaper article with a headline says, "People with disabilities struggle in Malawi's cities."
In my opinion, government is just giving a blind eye to the whole situation, because each and every year the budget passes by.
A newspaper article with a headline says, "Malawian school children with disabilities struggle to access drinking water and toilets."
We even give an example of the Minister of Disability, whereby I would have thought that that would have been the most friendly place.
Photograph of a Malawian minister with 3 men in wheelchairs.
You find that to access the wing of the disability, it's in the second floor, and most of the times the lift to the place are broken down.
Video and photos of ramps too steep for wheelchairs.
Newly constructed buildings, they easily pass the city assemblies and the city councils, whereby they are supposed to be rejected because most of the buildings are not disabled friendly.
Bernadetta Vazi, a woman in a wheelchair, backs away from a building.
Bernadetta Vazi, Executive Director of Disabilities Empowerment. As the Director of JAE, I'm quite often called to meetings in different hotels.
Photograph of Bernadetta at a hotel event.
However, I fail to concentrate on the meeting's agenda as I keep thinking of how I will access the different facilities.
Photograph of a wheelchair inaccessible bathroom.
I switch my focus to how I will maneuver, whilst my colleagues physically able-bodied are relaxed.
Bernadetta pushes down a dirt road in her wheelchair.
A fundamental human right is for disabled people to gain access and participation on an equal level with others, regardless of our impairments. Article 9, Paragraph 2, Section D and E of the UNCRPD provide that buildings and other places open to the public should have signage in Braille and in an easy-to-read and understand form. And that live assistants and intermediaries, including guides, readers, and professional sign language interpreters, should be provided to facilitate accessibility. Government should try to fund sign language interpreter trainings.
Sekerani signs to camera. Malawian officials display COVID vaccines.
Because of the language barrier, deaf persons in the country have inadequate information on COVID and its updates.
Doses of the COVID vaccine on a table and in a box.
Like vaccination and information on the recently discovered variant.
Outside the KwaZulu Central Hospital in Malawi.
This information is broadcasted on TV on daily basis, but it is in a language that a deaf person can't understand. Currently, there are less than 10 professional sign language interpreters in the country. The National Media House has 2 interpreters restricted to news, which is 1 to 3% of the national coverage. With this, not even the presidential national address on COVID is transmitted with proper signage.
A newspaper article with a headline says, Malawi government shows little interest in improving access to information. Martha Chambalo, who is visually impaired, walks around her house.
Dzina langa ndine Martha Chambalo.
I am Martha Chambalo, popularly known as Mrs. Kainga. I am a visually impaired lady and a teacher at Natenje Primary School.
Martha tidies inside her house.
I became visually impaired at a young age. Growing up, I encountered several challenges. In class, when given assignments, I couldn't read on the chalkboard. I relied on classmates to read it out for me, but some denied to help.
Martha straightens a tablecloth.
I could stay behind to copy notes. Books were scarce at school, even at the teacher training college, which made it hard for me to learn. It is by God's grace and my hard work that I completed school. Going to the borehole, people in the community laughed at me, saying I can't draw water, as I was blind. Why does she bother to go to school? She can't succeed. Even if she succeeds, who would employ a person who is visually impaired? I see grace that I'm working and supporting even those that laughed at me. Working with the Ministry of Education as a teacher, we are challenged with lack of teachers and learners' books that are in Braille.
Martha collects a book and puts it on a table.
The ministry says it's expensive, hence teachers with visual impairment fail to effectively deliver as fellow sighted colleagues do. Even writing materials like Baking's Braille stylus, and marbags are not available. We just use our experience to teach. We ask colleagues to help read out tomorrow's classwork. Some don't offer to help, saying they don't share our salary.
Martha reads a book using Braille.
In class, we use more intelligent pupils to identify those lagging behind, and other class management methods like group work are employed. Accessibility is a civil right, a human rights principle running throughout the UNCRPD. Inaccessibility is discrimination, a violation of the right to equality, freedom of movement, or independent living. Human rights are indivisible, interdependent, and interrelated. There is a cascading effect when just one right is denied. I feel government just wants to be perceived as thinking of us people, persons with disabilities, but no tangible action. They are failing.
Slow motion shot of Martha's book and her fingers reading Braille.
They say our Braille materials are expensive. Why is government failing to buy Braille materials? This affects employment opportunities for the disabled. But yet the same government is able to buy books for other people, printers which are equally expensive. Persons with disabilities are restricted to teaching because of accessibility issues, yet they can deliver beyond teaching. We are capable of being employed in various ministries. Disability should not be a barrier. I have never seen government giving assistive devices like white canes to the blind or wheelchairs to people with mobility challenges. Only non-governmental organizations intervene.
Sekerani signs to the camera.
I have few words. This is time to act. For years it has been a song, and a lot has been signed, but this is the time to act. The 2018 Disability Act agenda must be adopted. We have to act now. Paperwork time is over. Laws are provided, they must be followed and enforced.
Derrick talks outside a building.
I think the government needs really to think seriously about the Disability Act because it's affecting most of the disabled people in the country. Economically, socially, they're being affected. Because it doesn't really necessarily require the government to push in money. There are some other issues that just needs policy direction.
Everyone, irrespective of disability, needs access to buildings and information. This is time to act. Sekerani Kufawani. Poor accessibility is a serious violation of our human rights. Accessible language now. Martha Chambalo. When I travel beyond Malawi, I feel home. I am more independent. We need an accessible Malawi now. Derrick Kumwenda. Accessible buildings are essential for equal participation. Accessibility by universal design now. Bernadetta Vazi.